Let's be real. Most people are just sleepwalking through their sex lives and calling it connection. And what if sex and connection didn't actually have to fade with age? What if it could actually get better? This is Gloves Off, and I'm your host, Dr. Kalpana Sundar. This is where we dispel all the myths, we call out the truth, and we remove the distortion from what society is telling us and what is really the truth. And I'm so excited today because I have our guest today who is Laurie Handlers, and she's quite the specialist in this area. So for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, this is Gloves Off, and this is what we do. We just want to talk about living life to the fullest, remove all the crap that we've been told, and really drill down into the truth. And thanks for watching. And I wanted to just call out our season sponsor here. This is Listening to Smile. The show intro and the frequency of the music was created by them. So if you want to check them out, there's the QR code over there. So as I was mentioning, Laurie Handlers is our guest today, and I like to call her the Aphrodite of sexual awakening. She is quite an accomplished human being because she has 2 podcasts. She's an international author and she hosts numerous retreats. She's quite the media maven as well, and she is just out there helping people understand what true sexuality is really all about. So I cannot wait to dive into this conversation with her. All right, Laurie, welcome. Welcome to Gloves Off.
What a great introduction. Thank you so much. Plus, I loved all the boxing. Like when I first heard your podcast name, I thought it was gloves, like surgical gloves. Like
it is that too. It is. It's funny.
But then I saw the boxing. I got really excited. I went, yeah, I like this. I like this, the whole metaphor.
Yeah. So actually, the first intro that I had more, and actually I still have it on my outro because it's me taking my surgical gloves off, which obviously happened first. And then I got into boxing, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, because I was always worried about protecting my hands. So I didn't do any of that stuff while I was a surgeon. Now I guess I don't have to worry about my hands. So I do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Amazing. Really amazing. Well, I got really excited watching that. So thank you. It was great to just be watching you do the intro. Anyway, thank you for the intro of me too. That was also
of course. I like what I called you, the Aphrodite of sexual awakening.
I know. I got a big smile,
But I mean, tell us about how this all evolved for you. I mean, when did you get interested in this and how did it start? And, we know where it is now. You're doing all these things, but I want to know what started this interest for you.
Well, I think I just was like that. I think that when I was a kid, I was super interested in my body and with the sensations in my body and the feelings in my body. And I was discouraged from exploring anything like that by my mother and my grandmother. They were very worried about me. They didn't like how precocious I was. They told each other, this girl's going to get in trouble. And so they watched me like a hawk. And then I never had sexual intercourse with my high school boyfriends or anything. I know girls do that now, but in the time that I was being raised, it wasn't appropriate. It would have been too risky for my reputation, etc. So I had sex, what I consider to be sexual intercourse, although I had many other things before that, when I was 18. And I thought to myself, I waited for this. This is like,
I love that. That's hilarious.
I mean, what was I saving? It wasn't good. Like, there was no experience that it didn't feel like it was supposed to. I was so let down. I was so disappointed. I thought, well, what are people saving this for? This is nothing great. But inside myself, I always knew something was better and there was a potential to have something better. But I didn't know where to find it. I didn't know who to talk to about it. Certainly not my mother or my grandmother, obviously. So I wanted to the guys that I connected with back then, I wanted to talk about it. And they thought, this girl is really She's weird. We don't want to talk about it.
Just want to do it, you know?
Yeah, that's it. So anyway, if we roll them forward, in the 1980s, I found an article in Yoga Journal, which was delivered to my house then, to my apartment. I lived in Boston, and I found an article about a Tantra teacher named Margot Anand, and that I said, oh, this is exactly what I think. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Why hasn't anybody else talking about this? Why is this coming in this yoga journal? Anyway, I saved the article. I That was in the 80s. There was no internet. I couldn't find her.
Mm.
It just was an article about her. And so in the 90s, I found a teacher. And so 10 years later, I found a teacher. In 1996, I took my first class in Tantra. And the first day in the class, I went, oh, this is what I thought. This is what I've been waiting for. This is it for me. Now, I had already been a corporate consultant. I had already been in the world of transformation. I had already been teaching. I was doing workshops, but they were different. They didn't have a sexual component. I
Mm-hmm.
was working with lots of women. I led women's groups, and sometimes I led men's groups,
Mm-hmm.
and I led communication courses, both inside industry and for adult education centers and at universities. But this was different. So I took classes and I said, I'm going to become a teacher of this.
Well, I love
And
that you found this. I mean, and anecdotally, I didn't even know Tantra existed back then because I think it's become so much more mainstreamish now, but I
it
didn't
has,
know that it existed back then. But I'm kind of curious. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and
yeah,
ask you. So, going back to your first sexual experience and you're like, what? This is what I've been waiting for. This
yeah.
wasn't that great. And then, so what happened when you first took that first tantra class? How did it open your eyes to a different perception of what sex could be?
Okay. So it was everything that I thought put into one. It was a focus on body, mind, and spirit. It was a focus on practices and science and theory of actually how a human functions, how a human works, and that sexual energy is at the center of it.
Mhm.
Not sex, having sex, but
Right.
sexual energy. So in Tantra, I learned that sexual energy is the vital life force. It's
Yes.
both the force that we create babies with, which is a miracle,
Yes.
and it's also the force that unlocks our creativity. It's not just creating offspring,
Right.
it's creation. So it means if I think I'm smart, if I'm writing a book, if I'm a graphic artist, if I'm a fabulous speaker, if I'm whatever I am, I'm using this, but I'm using my sexual energy. And if it's blocked, I have what they call writer's block or
Mhm.
speaker's block or all the blocks. So it's the central force that makes us human. And many of us have been taught, most of us have been taught to be afraid of it. And
And
that is
shame. Either afraid of it or
ashamed,
ashamed of it.
afraid,
Yes.
guilty,
Yeah.
all of those things. So we walk around, split.
Mm-hmm.
This part is okay. This part is sin. This
Mm-hmm.
part down here is sin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true.
Mm-mm.
That's what we've been told. We've been sold a bill of goods to control us.
Exactly. That's when I first met you. That was when I so resonated with you because it was
Yeah.
on a Zoom call where you were teaching a class. And when you said that, I was like, oh, I like this woman. This is exactly what I believe because I truly do believe that this is the way to control us. I mean, not just women, really men and women, because now we've created a dysfunctional sexual society. Women, I feel, are, you tell me if you agree or disagree, but I feel that women have been shamed and men have also been shamed about sex. And then certain things are not acceptable. And now we've just created this faulty dynamic between men and women. where it can really be such a beautiful experience. And that's what I love about Tantra too. I felt the same way when I first, I mean, I didn't take classes, but I know what it is and have talked
Yeah.
to a lot of people about it. And I said, oh, this is what I thought sex should be. Cause I kind of felt the same way as you. I was like, this is what it is. And then I was married for a really long time. And not that it was bad or anything, but it just, I don't know. I call it relationship sex. It just is. And I don't think it has to be that way. I
No,
don't
it
think
doesn't
it
have
has
to
to
be
be
that
that
way.
way.
It doesn't, but people's relationships go through many different stages depending upon what's happening in their lives at the time. So there's a lot of transition times, and then there's the honeymoon phase, and then there's the, oh, let's have kids phase, and the
Hmm.
kids come, and that changes everything because a woman's body goes through so many changes, and then the kids grow up and they leave, and then there's the empty nest phase, and then there's the, I don't know if I want to stay with you phase, like this is boring.
Yep, I've
and
been
there's
through all of those.
and then there's also perimenopause and menopause, and then there's crondom, and it's all like every different stage is so different, and depending upon how a woman feels about herself, and then what kind of communication she has with her partner, whether the partner even stays or not, or whether you want the partner to stay, like that always that comes into question. So
Mhm.
there's so many things, and no one talks about any of it. No
So
one prepares us for it.
it's so true. Nobody tells you anything. I mean, I know when I got married, it was this whole like forever thing, and nobody told me that there would be all these changes and that I didn't know myself at 21 when I decided to enter into this, forever relationship. And then, yes, I went through all the stages. Of course, it was great in the beginning. Then the kids showed up, and then you're just focused on the kids. Then when the kids started to leave, I used to never understand why marriages broke up at 20 something years until mine broke up exactly at 20 something years because the kids leave and they're the glue that's holding things together. And all of a sudden you look at each other and go, I don't even know you.
Yeah, yeah. You were very good. You were genetically, you were probably really good to pass our species along, and might have been a really good provider. But do we have our values? Are they still the same? Do we have anything in common? Like now I see, and my husband and I created a course where we see people who actually are looking to stay together. They'll do anything to stay together. And
I
so
love
that
that.
happens. But there's very little support for that in our world.
True, true. Now, let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you, I know you met your husband a little later in life, right?
Mm-hmm. I
Had,
met my husband when I was 67,
and was
and
this your first marriage?
it was.
Wow. Fabulous. I mean, listen, at least you didn't settle and at least you waited till the right fit showed along.
Yeah, it's really true. I never thought that would happen. I never expected to meet someone. I think you probably weren't at the Dames event where they did a mash put with me. Like I told them I was getting married, and I was 75, and they said, "Okay, skip around the room," and they were all singing and cheering, and it was like it was amazing. It was an amazing event,
I
and
love
I
this
didn't
though.
expect that.
Well, I love this because you know what? Women, we think it's over if we're not married by a certain age, if we're alone for too long. We just think things are over. Oh, I'm too old for this. I'm too old for that. And I love that this is, you found love at 67. That is fabulous. And now you guys
Thank
are
you.
obviously aligned, doing very similar things together. And I believe if I remember correctly, he's younger than you.
He's 21 years younger than me. I want to, can I show this? I wrote this book. It's called Sex and Happiness. It Gets Better with Age.
I love
And
it.
I started writing this when I was 60. So he wasn't in the picture then at all. I was on a boat in Greece going to an island to a meeting that I was expected to be at, and I brought a book to read, and it was terrible. It was just like a horrible book. So I said, "What am I going to do for 4 hours? I know I'll start writing a book." So I started writing book two then, and I said, "What's it going to be about?" I know. What do you have to do to have everything be great when you're over 50? what have I done since I've been 50 that will keep me in the game, that will keep me, because people think they're going to dry up and shrivel when they're 50, and that's just so
Oh,
not true.
it's so
But
true.
you know that you're, you know,
That's what I
you're,
thought. I mean, looking when I was younger and I looked at 50 something year olds, I think, oh my God, I don't even want to be 50. That's terrible. Because,
right,
the role models I had for 50 probably weren't living as vibrantly. I turned 56 in a few weeks, and I'm like, I feel probably happier and younger than I even felt when I was 30 because I'm more okay
right.
with myself.
So good. That's exactly. I always say to people, they say, "Well, what did you do when you were 50?" And I say, "Well, I stopped worrying about what other people thought about me." And that gave me a whole lot of energy and a whole lot of reason to be and to stop worrying about other people's opinions. Like, so what? Some people are going to love you and some people are not going to love you. So what? But
Exactly.
that was a huge lesson. And that only came to me when I was 50.
Yeah,
So,
same. I would think it's around that time that it came to me as well. And then I
yeah,
think what happens is when you get to the point where you're releasing all these attachments about what people think of you, you can really focus on what you truly enjoy. And I think truly sex does get better with age because there's this. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I was really ashamed of my body. And I don't know why, because I look back at pictures and I'm like, what was I ashamed of? But anyway, I was. And
that
I
it
didn't
was planted in you. You were ashamed of what was the expected reaction. That's what you
exactly.
weren't ashamed of anything, but they told you to be, whoever they are.
So I felt the shame around sex and all of this stuff. Even though I was married, I still, honestly, I still had some shame around sex for whatever reason. All this stuff that we've been fed. So it took a real long time for me to get over that. So as that started to shift, I think that I'm in a whole different place. So is this what all women go through or most? What would you say with the women you've been dealing with?
Well, the women that I'm dealing with are not, I don't think they're so
True.
far. It's not the main segment of society, but
True.
I've worked with thousands and thousands of women. I mean, maybe 10,000s of women. And I would say that they all, when they get embodied, when they discover, and we'll go back to Tantra here, when they discover that they're a body, mind, and spirit all connected, and they connect the dots, then they have a lot to live for and they feel unashamed. And whatever, they'll do whatever it takes to get unashamed, to rid their body of the memories of whatever that those lessons were where they had to swallow shame, let's say. I don't even think shame is a real emotion. I think it's a manufactured emotion for control.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you.
And I learned that because I had a dog who messed my apartment up, and I started to beat him. This is a long time ago, but I was beating him with a broom. I was so mad. It was a brand new apartment, and he just messed the entire carpet and all the vertical blinds and everything back in the 80s. I called a friend over. I said, come here and take this broom out of my hand because I'm going to kill this dog. I'm in my brand new condo, and he has ruined the entire condo. And my friend came over, took the broom out of my hand, and then within 2 minutes, the dog found a frisbee and picked it up in his mouth and came running over like, let's play. And I knew that it's only people who go to therapy for 50 years for shame. Dogs don't care. They don't even remember.
That's such a great analogy. You're so right.
Yeah. So I said, why do I have to have this? Why do I have to have this kind of a feeling in myself, in my body, in my belly when this was put on me?
Hmm.
So I don't, I think that shame is a learned and manufactured emotion. Like
I
I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it's legit. So I'm trying to rid it from everybody I can find.
I love it. I love it.
So when women get unashamed and unabashed, they still listen. Women still have issues. Women speak up for themselves less than men. Women promote themselves less than men. Women are indirect. They don't make direct requests. They complain. there's still ways that women are that they were socialized into being that's very difficult to break. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a lot of what my husband and I do. We teach women and men like, okay, he says you should make requests so he understands what it is you want instead of your complaints. And then I'll just talk about myself. When my husband said that to me, I thought I had a quota. Like I could make maybe 5 requests a day. I mean, I've caught myself. He'll call me and say, I'm passing by the market. What do you need me to pick up? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll make the list on purpose a little shorter than I would make it for myself because I figure he won't want to do as much as I would. He won't want to hunt for as many items as I will, whatever. I've caught myself doing that and I go, oh, this is that thing. Like, so
Wow.
he once said to me, you can make 100 requests a day. Like, I don't care. And I would think,
Does he
oh,
have a brother?
no, he has children only.
Darn
And I think to
it.
myself, he says, you can make 100 requests. I'm so happy to fill them for you.
Oh my God.
And I
That's
think to myself,
great.
where did I learn this quota? Where did I learn to cut the shopping list in half?
Hmm.
Where did whatever.
But
It's,
it translates into so many other areas of our life, and it's so true that as women, we really owe it to ourselves to speak up for what we want in life. And the more we can do that, I think that everything probably gets better. Our work life, our
it's true.
friendships, our relationships, our sex life, you name it. I would
Yeah.
bet that all of it gets better once we start speaking up for ourselves. And I know I'm still in transition. I'm speaking up more and more and more, but I still feel like I find edges of where I could even do it more.
Yes. And now let's talk about sex. Women don't say the truth about what they want in sex for fear.
Mm.
Like they're very, I don't want to say this. I was going to say they're very happy to throw a guy out if he's boring. I don't think I want to say that. They're not very happy, but um, they would rather say this isn't working than say these are the things that would work.
Hmm.
And men are also very shy and kind of, I'll use the word goosey. They're goosey about getting feedback that they could use improvement as a lover.
Hmm.
But the thing is that men don't learn it from anywhere. Like they don't have mentors that teach them how to make love.
Hmm.
They don't know, they watch porn. That's not a tutorial.
No.
So, yeah, we're in a place where communication is key. We really need communication. And one is women need to express themselves in their truth, what it is they want and need, and men need to learn how to take that and not take it personally. Like there's
Right.
nothing wrong, just move a little to the left.
Right.
You
And
know?
really, it goes both ways. I mean, in the same way that man can say, I like this better. We're all different too. So no, it's not a one size fits all thing. One woman
Exactly.
likes this, another woman likes that. So it's just really about being open and having that open communication with your partner. And my guess, and I speak hypothetically, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think out of all the things that we want in our partner, if you can have communication and honesty, those two might be the biggest, most important things. At least I think they are to me,
Yes,
because
yes.
I think from there, probably anything can be rectified. Sex, relationship issues, things you don't agree on. If you just start with communication, I guess respect is also really important. So maybe communication, respect, and just, that kind of openness and just to hear each other out. Probably we wouldn't have as many broken relationships.
I, I 100% agree. I really 100% agree. A lot of it is that we have no skills. We've
Mm,
never been taught to communicate in love. We might know how to speak a different language and
hmm.
we might know how to do algebra
Hmm.
and math, which is another language, but we don't know how to communicate in love. We've learned nothing about that, but we're expected to live happily ever after.
Yeah, that's the paradox.
we,
Yeah, it's
we
so
all got that brainwashing from Walt Disney.
Oh,
And
don't even get me started on that. I wrote about that in my first book, all this, Disney princess crap that I fell for. But, there's a lot of, so for example, not speaking your truth and not having your voice is Little Mermaid. She gives up her voice. I don't know if you remember, but that one is the one with the mermaid. She gives up her voice to the sea witch and, in exchange for the prince. I'm like, you just gave up your
okay,
voice.
I never saw it, but now I know I won't see it,
Yes.
like,
And I
yeah,
mean, but you're brainwashed watching these things and you have
yeah,
no idea till you look at it 20, 30, 40 years later and go, oh my God, what were they doing? Yeah. The thing I don't want to give up is my voice, my agency. No, thank you. So
no,
yeah,
thank you. No,
I think
thank you.
we are brainwashed from a young age to do that in exchange to get the love and admiration of the prince. But the reality is that's a bunch of crap because you're never going to have the happily ever after if you two don't communicate because looks only last so long. I mean, we all know
Exactly.
this. We've all been with somebody that's really good looking and maybe you're not compatible with them at all. And it really only lasts so long if there's nothing deeper.
Exactly. Definitely so good. True words there. True words there. Yeah.
It's gotten to the point for me that I see a lot of very attractive men, but if they don't have the right kind of energy, I'm actually not even interested. Somehow I can actually feel that out very quickly before even talking to them. I mean, I can tell by their energy
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how good looking they are. If there's nothing else, I don't really care.
Yeah. There's nothing there. That's good. I've always found that like very, very attractive people don't have to work as hard as people who are medium attractive because the very, very attractive people just like walk in a room and people want to be with them. And so they don't work as, they don't have to develop as great skills. I'm not going to say that as over,
No,
across the board, but
but there are, I think it depends what those people want. You're right. Very attractive people are going to get a lot more attention. They're going to get heads turning. They're going to get all that stuff. But if they want something that absolutely lasts, well, then they're going to have to do some personal development because you don't
totally,
get the things that last by just superficial looks. So
totally.
yeah, but I would say you're right. I mean, there are a lot of good looking people out there who don't do the work because they are just surrounded by people. And, it just matters what you want. I'm personally a person of a lot of depth. I don't like superficial anything. I don't like superficial business relationships. I don't like superficial friendships. I don't want superficial intimate relationships. None of it. I'm just not that
Great.
person.
Yeah, I can understand why. I can understand why they, like you said, they only last so long. And someone has to be on the other side.
Exactly. And that really, I think, is the basis of what greats, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but this to me, these are all the ideas I have. I haven't put them into
Yeah,
theory yet.
I love it.
I have not found my second half of my life partner. I had the first half, and now I'm looking for something entirely different. So my theory is this. When you have great communication, great respect for each other, and you don't have to be exactly the same. You don't have to like all the same things. I don't even think that really matters. I
It
think that as
doesn't.
long as there's a general appreciation for what they like and what you like and whatever, as long as there's an appreciation and a honoring of that, to me, I don't know that I care that, they like exactly what I like. But I think there's this deepening. This is in my mind. This is what I imagine that this is what I'm looking for. So this is how I thought a
Great.
lot about it.
I'm happy to know.
So I see that, there's somebody out there who really wants to know me on a deep level and I want to know them on a deep level. And then that's where that relationship just is ignited. I mean, intellectually, emotionally, sexually. I think that's the basis of it. And to learn that is important if that's what you want.
So that's a value of yours, and that's where you have to have a values match. You don't have to both ski, you don't have to both play tennis, but you do need to have a values match. So your value is going deep,
Mhm.
and somebody has to meet you in that for you to feel like there's a values match. So
Totally.
it's really, really important. Really important. Are very important in
Yeah, I
this.
never really thought of it that way, but I guess that's so true. And then honesty for me is a really big value. So meaning I'd rather somebody tell me that dress doesn't look good on me which is not what most women will say, but I'd rather that than you just tell me it looks great. And I'm like, why did you tell me this looks great? It doesn't.
You and I could be best friends then because I'm that person. Like
Yeah,
I'm the person who I would say to you, don't go out in that dress. Or
good.
I would run up to somebody in an airport and say, you have toilet paper stuck to your shoes. Don't walk any further if you don't want to feel humiliated. Like I'm that person.
Oh my God. And I appreciate people like that. One time I was in the airport and I was wearing this dress and I don't know, but I was rushing in the restroom, and I pulled up my, underwear and I literally the dress like it was like hiked up. I had no idea. And this woman came to me and she quietly stood. She was so great. She stood behind me. She kind of fixed it and told me what she was doing. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's great. That could have been me. I don't know. It could have been
Yeah.
me. I'm like that. So
But I
that's
love that.
great.
I always say I'd
Yeah,
rather the ugly truth than pretty lies. I don't want pretty lies. I don't want lies at all, frankly. So another value of mine is just deep honesty. Even if it's
beautiful.
not fun to hear sometimes, I'd rather know.
I love that. I love that. So that's what you're voicing has to do with having great sex. And it has to do really with also having great sex at a later time in your life. I don't know that everybody, when people are younger, that they even give it that much thought.
No, they
So
don't.
what you're talking about is there's an expression, I'm sure you've heard it, called sapiosexual.
Mhm.
That's when somebody's mind turns you on.
Yes,
There's so much that, like the brain is really a sex organ,
it is.
not located in the same place, but still really effective and very important for great sex. So what you're talking about is exactly that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to joke after my divorce, because I, dated a lot of good looking men that were, young and very attractive and fit and all the things. And I was like, he'd be so much better looking with duct tape over his mouth. Just because when they opened their mouth, I'd go, oh God, it just ruined it.
Yeah, I understand. So you have a fantasy, but that's not the reality.
Exactly. And we have to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
for those. We have to watch for those. And I joke, I would never put duct tape over anybody's mouth. But seriously, though, we have to look at the whole package. We can't just look at random things. I think us as a society, we're programmed to think we want X, Y, and Z. I did the same thing because I thought that's what I wanted. That isn't really what I wanted. I had to
Yeah.
go through that to understand that wasn't the most important thing to me. It wasn't, those were not my values, but I didn't know.
Well, part of what we do in our course, Extraordinary Lovers, we work with singles and couples. And with the singles, we work with them to improve their picker, like to
Mm,
make sure that they pick differently for the next round of their life than they picked before. Or if they find themselves in the same situation over and over again, the exact same thing happening, we say that you're picking from a wound.
mhm.
You're picking from, like, this feels comfortable and familiar, you should run.
Yeah,
Like go the other direction. It's something that's like unresolved.
right. A
So we
trauma bond,
have
right?
had that. Yeah, we have had that in our course. And for couples, we teach them how to do the communication, and singles learn it before they meet someone again. But with couples, we like to get couples early enough before they hit the bumps. But
Mm.
we've had people who've been married for 46 years. So
I
we
love
have all
that.
that. We help them rekindle things when things start to go south.
That is beautiful. I mean, after 46 years, you've been through so many things. Why not try to work it out? Why not? And sometimes people take the easy way out. They get divorced, they cheat, or they just do all these things. And, if there's a way to work it out, I always think it's so wonderful when it can.
Yeah, for the most part, it can. It just means digging in, going exactly what you said before, like
Hmm.
going deeper to find what is really going on, what's really going on here. Are you going through a midlife crisis? Did one of your parents die? Did something happen? Did you change jobs? Did you retire? All these things affect people's eros. You
Mm.
know, eros is what we said before. It's the creative life force, and the creative life force is affected by all kinds of things.
So true.
So,
It's so
yeah.
true. And I love it
Yeah,
because I think the reality is all of us want to be seen, loved by the right partner, you know? And when you have something like that, it could be so beautiful. But if you have something that's not satisfying, it really can be quite not beautiful, the total opposite. So,
exactly.
you know, you could have one or the other. And, you know, I love what you and your husband are doing, because clearly there's a lot that society as a whole can benefit from learning these techniques. Because one big thing that I'm very, very passionate about, because I see things from the woman's side of things, because obviously I am a woman, I've gone through
Yeah.
these things, but I have two sons. So I see
Oh,
what
good.
men deal with, because I have two very emotionally well developed sons. They speak about what they see, what are their thoughts, all of these things. And I just love the interaction, because now I get to see from a bird's eye view what these young men go through. And I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to see that for me.
It's it's tough out there too for them. It's very tough for them right now.
It is.
Um, there's they have fear of cancel culture. They
Mhm.
have and fear of Me Too. They have yeah, they just men are really struggling and lost a lot. A lot of men are very, very lost right now in
Oh, they are.
in the sea of dating
Yes.
and in the sea of women's anger, women's scorn for the patriarchy. I mean, I think it's important to say to women, listen, this guy who's like 20, he didn't create patriarchy. Like, don't hold him responsible. You know, let him know about it, but don't be so angry. There's so much separation going on right now in our world.
And that's
It's
what I feel you and your husband are doing. In your way, you're bringing back that, you know, unity between the man and the woman. We can't sit here and say we don't need each other, because we really do. Whether we want to admit it or not, we need and want each other. We just don't
yes,
like to admit it.
and survival of the species is dependent on that.
100%. So
So
it is, and I've dated men that have told me, I don't know whether I'm supposed to open the door, not open the door. You're very, you know, you're a very independent woman. I don't know what to do. And I just tell them, well, I like all of that. So I'm not going to be offended. I think it's sweet, you know, and I just tell them that, you know, I'm married. There are women that don't like it, but I do. But they don't know what to do. And many of them actually are very kind-hearted people that just don't know what to do. I've actually
exactly,
realized that. I mean, for a while I thought men were just creeps, but then I realized that there's a lot I did not see that they go through. And as my sons got older, I started to understand what they were going through. And this whole culture is very confusing to them and frankly to us. It's all
it's
confusing.
very confusing. It's very separation causing. And the
Mhm.
more technology we have, like if you consider probably your sons grew up with earphones in.
Mhm.
Like if you consider all the kids who grew up rather than like speaking and talking to each other, walk through life with this. So again, there's like a setback. Yeah, they have a lot of information, but how do I use that to communicate with another person?
Right.
And that's really the key. We're just not good at it because there's not been anything that's given us those lessons.
So
So
true.
yeah, that's what we're doing. We think couples are an endangered species,
Yeah.
and and we're teaching them. Well, I mean, I'm we work with couples and singles. I also have a bunch of other courses that I do for individuals, and what I'm seeing, I also teach a course for people over 50. So
Uh,
because they have different people over 50 have different desires and different needs and different things going on than people to be in a class with people in their 20s.
right.
So,
I love that.
yeah,
And I also actually love the fact that you and your husband have a good size age gap, meaning that maybe you can approach it from different viewpoints because of generation difference. I mean, that
It's
probably
true.
is a shift too. I mean, there are generational things that we view in certain ways. I don't know. I think it all should just come together, meaning that it doesn't matter what generation we're in, we can find common ground somewhere. And no matter whether we're men or women, we can also find common ground if we just seek to understand one another and not just look at the differences. Because it could be easy to look at somebody who's older than you and go, oh my God, why can't they use an iPhone or why can't they use a computer? But gosh, they've gone through things that we can't even fathom. So, we got to look at it from all of those ways. And the fact that many of them are using this technology pretty darn well is pretty amazing.
Well, my husband gave me that compliment this week. He said, Laurie, you're really great. You're super up on technology. Very few people your age know how to do what you know how to do. But
So
I
true.
can't imagine not. I remember when I think oh, I was probably 60 or something, and I had an account on MySpace. And I remember somebody writing to me on MySpace and saying to me, this is pretty good for somebody like 60 to have an account on MySpace. And I thought, okay, I didn't know, you know what I mean? I didn't really realize, but as I'm, even more aging, I think to myself, yeah, there's just things that I can see people struggling with
Hmm.
as they age. And it really is resistant. I write about that in this book.
Uh-huh.
It's resistance to shaking things up and addiction to routine, which I think causes people to age. I think people have to shake things up. I think people have to do different things. I think they have to try new things. I think they have to completely say, okay, we've always done it this way. Great. I'm not doing it this way anymore.
I love that. That is
All
so
those things age people. They really, really do. So,
That's
like,
why aging, I think you could be whatever age, but if you're current and vibrant and you're willing to shake things up, you definitely don't seem as old as your age may say you are. I
right.
think that's the thing. And then is all the information that you mentioned, everything is on your website, right? Your courses, your books, all of that
Yes.
is on there, I
Yes.
imagine. So I'm going to put that up for everybody who's watching. This,
Yes.
did I spell something wrong? Hopefully not.
No, I think you got
Okay.
it right.
Okay,
And
I copy and pasted from the information you give me. I've
okay, that's
learned
great.
that that's the smartest way to do it, so I don't make my fingers do something wrong.
It's good. And also, Pete, you could also, I don't know if it's in there, but you could also go to extraordinarylovers.com. That
Oh,
will
okay.
take you right to the courses on relationship, and lauriehandlers.com will take you to generally everything that I do, everything that we do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
I have to say, I love this conversation. I love this mission that you and your husband are on and bringing
thank you.
couples together. The endangered species concept, I think, is very true. I love that you are really taking an active role in helping society find union, love, happiness, all of those things, because let's just face it. I keep saying it because I hate when women say, well, I don't need a man. Oh my God, I hate hearing that. I'm like, maybe you don't need one, but you probably really want one.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that's probably the single most important thing in most people's lives, what you alluded to before, to be seen and felt and actually met, to be met by somebody who meets you.
Yeah.
I think that everybody grows up wanting that. I don't care. They can prefer somebody of the same gender.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can prefer, it doesn't really matter to me, but I want everybody to feel seen, held, and met.
Such a
And
beautiful way to put it.
we don't have, this is why we're doing the work we're doing, because we just simply don't have the skills to be able to sustain that.
Absolutely. And it doesn't, gender, that's irrelevant, really. It's just
Right.
that you want a partner of some sort, that you really feel held and seen and met in that relationship, which is a really beautiful way to put it. I don't think most
Yeah.
people think about it like that. And that's so important.
Yeah. And
Well,
even the people who say I don't want one, they want that.
oh yeah, they usually, because I think there's a little bit of grief around it that you haven't found it or you don't know how to find it. So then you just say you don't want it.
Right.
which
Right.
I don't know. I mean, maybe some people really don't, but I truly think most people actually just really do. That's
Well, you
just
know what they say, denial is a river in Egypt.
exactly. Well, let me tell you, you are a powerhouse. I just, when the first day I saw you and I was like, I gotta know her. And as
Thank
soon as we
you.
got done with that class that you were giving, I was emailing you and said, we have to connect because this woman is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I felt the same way about you, so I feel good. I feel also good knowing that I could say the truth to you.
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, if you
Um,
ever see me walking through the airport and my butt's hanging out, please help me.
Great. I'm glad somebody came.
Oh, thank God. I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Who knows how long I was walking around like this? Meanwhile, the men are just getting a good show. And thank God for the woman who stopped me and helped me.
Yeah, really. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh,
The
it's
gloves
so,
off. I
yes,
love the gloves off. Yeah.
it's an absolute pleasure. Keep doing the amazing work you're doing. And, audience out there who's watching, check out Laurie's website. And thank you for being so honest, candid. Now we've learned about Tantra, we've learned about proper union and so many wonderful things.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye. Well, I hope you guys enjoy that. She is quite an amazing lady. And I have to say, I feel very, very grateful for knowing her. So she really has inspired me in a lot of ways, just that candid conversation and having somebody like her at her age who just owns herself, her sexuality. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. So it's proof, people out there, that just because we get older doesn't mean that, we can't continue to live in a beautiful and embodied way. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. And we will see you next week for another episode of Gloves Off.